Welcome to a new weekly segment of the Reclamation Room. Each week, I'm going to post a longer video so that you can reclaim a piece of you in motherhood. There will be an example of a client that I've worked with or a theme that I'm noticing in my work, and I will talk about how I am helping these mums so that you can get started on feeling more like you again. So I want you to imagine you've been planting, watering, harvesting, and tending to everyone else's needs. But when was the last time you looked at the soil beneath it all? When was the last time you looked at you? Recently, I've been working with a high achieving mum of two. Those kids are under 4 years old, so she's really busy, and she's also started back at work part time. So it's been a really big adjustment for them all, for the whole family. She goes to all of the effort of making her kids have, nutritious meals packed for daycare, spare clothes, all of the things, and she plans every dinner meal so it's easy for when she comes home. She keeps the family calendar on track, extracurricular activities, all of the things. Even, the nights her husband will be away for work so that she can be even more prepared and feel even more in control. And she finds that while all of this is great, she's still quite snappy at her partner and rageful. Their last blow up was over stacking the dishwasher, where she blew up about having to do everything and that nothing is done the way that she wants. And she realizes that it was a bit over the top and probably it was about something else. But in that moment, it was very real. And she doesn't recognize how much of the responsibility and mental load she is carrying, and is usually quite happy throughout the day and can connect with her kids, but she does notice that her nervous system goes into overdrive trying to stay alert for the next thing that's going to go wrong. And I think we can all resonate with this, and sometimes at night when her and her husband are trying to connect, she finds it really difficult to switch off and be present and just relax with him. Sometimes she will scroll on her phone to zone out and numb herself, or she'll cry at night because she feels invisible. Now think about this. Over farming soil without rest strips it of its nutrients, right? You've been cultivated for performance, for pleasing, for perfection, but you don't have time to replenish and recharge. So you're not lazy, you're actually depleted. And the crops, so your patience, your libido, your joy, won't grow in depleted soil. If you really think about that, it won't grow when you're feeling depleted. And reclamation starts with saying no without guilt, just once a week, and let the land actually rest and replenish. The yield will come later, right? So how do you learn to just be? How do you just rest? Because that doesn't just happen overnight, right? You are this way because it's gotten you results. You felt in control, right? So how do you loosen the reins? And so I really want you to start small. Give yourself small wins throughout the day. This is going to make a massive difference. And I'm going to give you some examples here because I know how hard it is to make these changes. So, first of all, I just want you to choose one thing to just let be and be good enough for today. For example, I'm not going to refold the laundry after my child has helped. It's done, that's enough. Move on to the next task, even though it's probably grinding your gears, right? Another thing is start saying done is better than perfect out loud. Use it like a mantra whenever you finish a task, even if it's messy, incomplete, or not how you pictured it at all. Just say the mantra, done is better than perfect. And I think that will help. Just try and slow the process down so that it's breaking that cycle of that automatic kind of perfectionism control response. Thirdly, practice B work is what I say. So once a day, aim for 80% effort, not 110%. It's surprisingly freeing, and you'll notice most people won't even see the difference in your house anyway. Again, back to slowing things down. I really want you to create a 2-minute pause before fixing or perfecting. When you feel the urge to correct, improve or redo, the dishwasher, for example, or, how your partner packs a bag, I really want you to pause for 2 minutes. most of the time that urgency will fade, right? Next, I want you to schedule messy play. I think this is something we do not let our kids do because it freaks us out more than anything. And I used to be one of these mums. I used to be like, no, we're not painting. No, we're not playing Play-Doh because I don't want you to mix the colors, all of those things. So we really have to build a tolerance to that emotionally. And so I really want you to let your kids engage in something messy, right? Like painting, mud, baking, and I don't want you to clean up immediately afterwards, and this really trains your brain to actually sit with the discomfort of imperfection without spiraling out of control. And again, it really helps regulate your own emotions around that as well. Next, I want you to celebrate those moments when you are imperfect. And I want you to say this to yourself. I want you to say, I am proud. I let that mess be today. I chose imperfection. I chose to actually be present with my kids instead of focusing on what I needed to do in order to get ahead today. It's fine. We can't be doing all of these things all the time. And I want you to do this even if it feels silly, right? Because it really rewires the brain to see imperfection as success, as being okay. Next, I just want you to let somebody help you without micromanaging. Ask for help in one small way. Can you make the kids' lunches? And don't edit or recheck their work afterwards. In the research, they call this maternal gatekeeping. As mums, we want to, protect our kids and do all the right things. And so when we let our partners help, we let them help, but we jump in and we correct and we fix and we make it even harder for ourselves than we need to be in the first place. So let them help. Don't check their work. Don't edit. Just let it be. Move on, right? Because you've got plenty of other things to do. And I know that there was a lot here, so I hope you go back and rewatch some of this, but hopefully something landed for you and something that you can include, in your practice, in your everyday life, so that you can reclaim a piece of you back, because that's what you need right now. Let me know what you took away from this in the comments, and I'll be back next week for another episode of the Reclamation Room.